What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we're going to be talking about something that kind of just dawned on me the past couple days, thinking about ways that we could kind of improve the game, because, sometimes on some accounts you just have these resources that you're never going to spend, and you wish you could cash them in for something else. And way back when we had Treasure Train come out, there were some kind of fake spoilers floating around, as if you could actually sell your Treasure Train treasures. That obviously didn't happen from what you guys can see in game. It was never on TapTap. It was just some weird Photoshop that I think someone was like hopeful that you could like get treasures and sell them. But it kind of made me think about today, what if you could take some of your excess resources and actually sell them on the auction house for Starry Gems? That might make it a little easier for free to play to maybe acquire a giant killer copy. So I kind of had this idea a little bit earlier today. We were on this account, we were getting ready to do all those cores of transcendence. If you haven't checked out that video, make sure you guys go check that one out first. But we're kind of sitting here and we're looking at all our resources, and I'm like, man, we're starting to get resources that we just don't need. One of them being soul symbols. I know there are so many people out there dying. They're literally at 5 to 10 soul symbols constantly because they're constantly changing their teams around, especially whales who are trying to play like very, very optimally, when as far as each game mode, they like swap everything over in Star Expedition to make their team the most powerful. And it kind of made me think, we have all these master toolboxes, we have all these soul symbols, especially things like soul symbols, scrolls. I mean, heck, imagine if you added wishing coins, super wishing coins, prophet orbs, branch blessings. There's so many resources in this game that I feel like you should be able to trade at this point, even glorious relics, honestly, because really, what's the biggest goal for every single account out there right now? Is getting this right here, getting this keyword on your main damage dealer on your account. If you don't have this, you are going to make half the progress that you would possibly make. Now, that's not a big issue as far as game design goes, in my opinion, just having one thing that needs it. What is an issue is how expensive it is to get. Now, granted, I guess if you want to talk about certain hero copies on the auction house that are giant killer copies, I mean, there's really a couple that matter. Mockman, Vulcan, Aspen, those are the big ones that are used for big pushes in the Void campaign. And you can actually see here, wow, Mockman and Vulcan prices are actually lower than Aspen copies right now. That is interesting. I think that's because so many people are finishing with campaign. They don't care about it as much. They're going for things like Star Expedition and stuff like that. So that is it's very interesting that the prices have dropped so much. Now, this is still over $1,000, which is a very big amount of money for anybody who's even just a medium spender. Dropping $1,000+ on one hero copy is just crazy. Usually $1,000, if you are a big spender, even gets you an entire event buyout on the big events. So it's a hard pill to swallow when you then want to spend this amount of money on a single copy, knowing that this is going to give you so much progression. Now, of course, what I really wish they would do is they'd come in here. I wish what they would do is since Giant Killer can only be an A- and higher, I wish they would make a lower version of it in the B- to B+ tier that you can roll. Maybe even make it a very rare roll, so you do have to require a lot of hammers to get it. But make it somewhere in the ballpark of, I don't know, maybe like 20 to 50%, or like when dealing damage to a target deals 2% more damage, capping at 30% for every 10% above self HP, something like that. They could tweak it so that it has a lower cap, and that way it would make it very much obtainable for every single player. Now, I don't think they're going to do that. That's why this is not really the big suggestion that I typically talk about, because, well, that's just money out of DH Games' pocket, and the auction house is probably one of the best money makers in the game right now, between that and the overall account of Treasure Train. And like I said, on TapTap, there were spoilers early on that actually showed like screenshots of people actually listing these guys on the auction house. That was confirmed fake. But what if like beyond just heroes that can be listed in here? What if, because I mean, they literally, it's almost like they're set up to do it here, right? Like, hero transcendence copy. What if they added additional tiers below this, like resources, currencies, things like that, that would allow people to sell progress that they might not necessarily need? Because as you guys know, once you get enough like sublimation and spiritual essence and stellar shards on your main like Mockman or Vulcan, whoever your main damage dealer is on your account, at that point you don't really need more. And a perfect example of that is like our free-to-play account. If we come on over to our free-to-play account, ignoring all the red dots and the pop-ups and everything, like, he is pretty much good to go, right? Like, he's got his 2 sublimations he needs, doesn't really need a core. I guess we could, you know, keep bumping him up to level 100, but like, you don't need the basic, you don't need that. The only thing that would really make him more powerful at this point is Giant Killer. Like, literally, that's it. We're already at 2.9 million HP or attack. Of course, more resources for Cloud Island would be good, but what if we could then take everything on this account that we don't care about as much? You could even sell like heroic scrolls, soul symbols, things like that, void nart, whatever you don't need. Heck, even star spawn cores when you get to the point you don't need them anymore. That would be a nice way to make it so that people could sacrifice resources, warriors relics, things like that, sell them off to people who absolutely need them, but in exchange get something more valuable to their account, which is Starry Gems. Because if you can start stacking up the regular Starry Gems, that means you can sooner or later purchase a Giant Killer copy. I mean, heck, technically you could probably buy like lesser copies to get through the early stages of Void campaign, because again, they're very inexpensive here compared to those. I mean, $400 or $500 is still a lot of money, but it's easier to get to this number by selling copies for a couple thousand here and there. If you get some nice B+ rolls, it would make such a difference, I feel like, to the average account. So I'd love to hear what your guys' ideas are on this topic. I'm hoping like I'm not completely off base here and you guys are at least like, yeah, you know, Barry, that sounds like a good idea. Maybe they should add something like that, because again, it feels weird that we have this listed right here. Like, we have these filters, but we don't have anything else. They should add another button that says like resource listing right here, and then that would actually be kind of cool. So again, let me know what you guys think. This is just me spitballing. I kind of had the idea from our earlier video where we did some crazy good cores of transcendence. Make sure you go check that out. That was amazing, because now we do have our 5 million crystals ready for mutated fungus G-Star. I can't remember the way it's listed, but I was like, man, there's so many resources here that we don't really need as much anymore. It'd be awesome if we could trade them off to someone else who could need them for resources we might need. So let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys next time.